I'm very inspired to be here and to experience the enthusiasm and the great interest that all of you continue to show in this work for peace that Pax Christi is about in our world. And so I thank you for inviting me to be part of this prayer service. And it's been a week since I came back from Haiti. Bob was a little bit wrong on that, but I was traveling the last couple of days, and so I did just get back in this afternoon. And again, I'm very thankful that I'm here. But rather than say a word about Haiti, I thought I might emphasize how important this vow of nonviolence is in the world in which we live. You've been dealing with the questions of war, and the talk Kathy Kelly just gave that I was able to hear certainly makes clear how we as a nation are depending upon trying to place our security or base it on weapons of war, on violence, on killing, and it's totally wrong. And just now, as of yesterday, you'll be hearing, I think, our president, who has provided such a vision, a marvelous vision of a world without nuclear weapons. And yesterday, he and the president of Russia agreed to the new START treaty. And that may seem like a marvelous thing. And in some sense it is. It's one more very small step toward ridding the world of nuclear weapons. But in fact, it doesn't really do what needs to be done, because we continue to insist, and the treaty almost was not renewed within the past couple of weeks, because we insist on continuing to build a missile defense system surrounding the territory of Russia and China with our missile defenses. And Russia insists that they want those missiles out of the area near their borders, because they are, we claim, they're only against Iran. But Russia knows, and we all should know, that the missile defense system is part of our offensive first strike system. And that means that when we decide to use the nuclear weapons that we have, we will target the Soviet nuclear weapons. And we probably will destroy most of them before they can be fired. That's what a first strike is. But a few of them probably will survive. And that's where the missile defense system comes in. And Russia knows this. China knows this. And so we are continuing to try to dominate the world with nuclear weapons, so that if we fire first, few of their weapons are then launched against us, we can knock them down with our missile defenses. We couldn't destroy the whole Soviet nuclear weapon system with our missile defense, but in a first strike we could. And so we still have that determination that we're going to dominate the world by having a first strike capability whereby we supposedly, it's hard to use this term, but would win a nuclear war. It's absurd, it's totally evil, and we have to continue to oppose it. And so even though we are happy that we are going to reduce the present deployment of nuclear weapons from 2,100 to 1,550, it still is nowhere near what we need to do if we're going to build a world of peace. We must abolish all of the nuclear weapons, we must get rid of our missile defense system, and we must commit ourselves to a world of real peace, and that will be done when enough of us are convinced that we must abolish war and work for peace only through active love and nonviolence. And so I invite you to stand now and we make this pledge, a vow of nonviolence, whereby we commit ourselves to work for peace only through the way of Jesus, that way alone, which is the way of active love. And so, recognizing the violence in my own heart, yet trusting in the goodness and mercy of God, I vow for 1 year to practice the nonviolence of Jesus, who taught us in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are you who are peacemakers, for you shall be called the sons and daughters of God. You have learned how it was said, you must love your neighbor, hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. In this way, you will be daughters and sons of your Creator in heaven. Before God the Creator and the sanctifying Spirit, I vow to carry out in my life the love and example of Jesus by striving for peace within myself and seeking to be a peacemaker in my daily life, by accepting suffering rather than inflicting it, by refusing to retaliate in the face of provocation and violence, by persevering in nonviolence of tongue and heart, by living conscientiously and simply so that I do not deprive others of the means to live, by actively resisting evil and working nonviolently to abolish war and the causes of war from my own heart and from the face of the earth. God, I trust in your sustaining love and believe that just as you gave me the grace and desire to offer this, so you will also bestow abundant grace to fulfill it. Amen.